Cool. So today, gonna keep working on this. I decided to do something a little different than what I was doing before. Before, I was thinking this is just gonna be kind of like an email newsletter kind of thing. Um, but I think it would be an interesting test after seeing the questions that it's come up with and the data analysis it's doing. I'm going to start probably every day coming up with. Something along the lines of like, what should we purchase given, the data that we're getting? Not as like something serious, but more as like a test to see if this data is actually useful. So every day we'll keep track of like, okay, what is based on an average of all of the questions and data that we've collected and analyzed. What do we do, right? Do we purchase an index fund or yeah, and then we just track that, and each day, and then we'll average the performance and all that. Unfortunately, I can't back test some of this. So, like for example, you set this to be 2020, right? February, and you try to test what it would do given that scenario. Unfortunately, you can't really do that because the models are polluted with future data. So even if you try to limit, the amount of information it has, it's still trained on data that uh, you can't control. So basically, we have to run this test in order to every day in order to try to figure out some conclusion there. So that's kind of a disadvantage, but in some ways it's an advantage, right? Because you actually people would have to be patient and actually run that test themselves to come up with some conclusion. But this was November 27th. Uh, I thought it was again pretty good. The kinds of questions I like how we're going about it is because we're generating the questions, but then we actually do analyze the data. We don't just the script that it's building is actually analyzing real data, and it's not just coming up with random numbers. Um, I double checked the data and it's accurate, so that's good. Um, Let me pull up my YouTube here. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, um, I'm gonna make it so I think I'm gonna implement users today. So that way, because I wanted to add some people like me, my mom, some other people uh, that would be interested in being on the list here that will get this email. And then after that, I'm going to work on more actionable stuff. So it's gonna actually come up with some recommendation, and then we'll keep track of the data there. So the first thing is users. Right now, it only can do one user. So let's switch to Opus here. Available at Sonnet 4.5. Okay, cool. So I'd like to implement users. So we should be able to add a lot of, let's say, this should be able to scale to 500 users. So I'm not going to put that actually. I'm going to get rid of that. Right now, we want to make it so we can add an arbitrary amount of emails, and it will be sent to them. Also, we want to implement user preferences, so they should be able to select what types of things it's going to send. Right now, we only have one type, right, which is this quantitative analysis stuff. We're going to add future types in the future. So I want you to add a some type of hold on. I'm gonna figure out what I want to do there. future, what do we call it? Future. These emails should be very customizable. So, for example, right now it's sending these questions with data analysis, but we're going to have different types. Some people might just want news, some people might want other things. But for now, let's just add the user preferences idea. We're not actually going to implement any others for the moment. And just have some way to store the users, something simple. Haven't seen that before. Test. Oh, strange. The music's not working for the. There we go. Oh, it looks like my screen isn't updating. There we go. Weird. I'll figure that one. Should I download Cloud Code? Cool, that makes sense. Oh, it's just using a file for the users. Oh no. For the users, can we use SQLite or something? So some database instead of just a file. This should be somewhat scalable. Yeah. I'll just put that later. Cool. So I think it's fixed that issue. All right. So next, set up a login sign up flow from the homepage where we're going to use Firebase. Leave spaces to put like API keys, etc. But just implement the whole flow there. See, I need to get the. Creating a new Firebase project here. Let's see, let's call it. Oh, so I got the project ready. Let's get the information we need. Cool. All right, so we got some. We're gonna fill this stuff out. Let's see here. Oh, they have a pass-through set too. How does that work? It's actually up. Let's see. Oh, it is up. Okay, cool. Let me pull it up real quick. Just has to install it, right? All right, you just have to run. I'm setting up Cloud Code at the moment as well. I think I need to. Yeah. What's the command again? Cool. Let's see, 5 to 25 per million token. Interesting. Test. Cool. All right. How do you stop it? So when I ran that, did it use a query? Interesting. Okay, it's running, so let me check it out here. I think I'm also going to check if anti-gravity had an update yet to fix the freezing. Hey man, how's it going? Do I'm just working on this project here. Trying to do a few things at the moment, just setting up the login users. This is song. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. I believe it probably did. Just have to start it up again. All right, cool. So now we have the sign in stuff. All right, cool. That looks good. Let me try logging in. Well, obviously it won't work, but just to see what it does. Cool. I'll just put in some stuff to see if I can. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna put in the Firebase stuff to see if it'll work. Just one shot. That'd be cool. Going to build something. This is yeah. So okay. So what's the idea behind this? It's basically. Let me turn down the music real quick because it's kind of drowning out my own thoughts. Okay, I'm just gonna turn it off for a second. But um, so the idea behind this is like we're not just going to ask it, "Hey, what should we do?" So I'll show you. This is the general idea. Is it's coming up with the kinds of questions that we want to ask based on what's happening on the current day, and then it creates the scripts to run. And we've built a kind of pipeline here where it creates a script. If there are any problems with the script, it just keeps iterating. So let's say we don't find much or there's not a lot of historical occurrences. So I'm like feeding a bunch of data into it, like historical stock market data, historical stock market like valuation, and it's building these types of questions. And based on the data of like what's happening in the current day and then what it can find on the historical occurrences. Then it builds this script that runs and gets the actual data. This is real data, not just like some hallucinated stuff. And then after that, we can average all of these types of questions. So let's say we generate 5 interesting questions that have historical occurrences. Then we can average all these and say, okay, what's what recommendation, right? And then we can just see, obviously it's who knows whether it'll actually produce good results or not, right? I have no idea. You can't really backtest it because it's polluted with data from the future. So you have to just run the test. Oh, the screen is frozen. That happened a while back as well. Let me see if I can fix it. So I think I just fixed that. I'll explain here what's going on. I think it's playing the music. Okay. So anyway, it's creating this data here, or I mean these questions, and then this data is created by running the script. So it's creating the script, and yeah, so it's basically all the things I just said, which is like it generates the script, and then we know, okay, this is what happened in the past, given on any given day. This is for a 1 month period. This is like our baseline. This would just be the S&P 500. So just like some benchmark, and then it creates all based on the scripts. We know what's going on with this question. I don't know if that makes sense. You'll have to let me know if that makes sense to you, because I'm not really sure. But it's like we have a bunch of questions that we're asking, and then we're going to average all the results. We're not just going to ask it, and the questions are generated by giving it a like investment philosophy kind of. So these are more quant kind of questions, I guess, or like more not quant, more technical questions, not really fundamental, so not very valuation oriented. So we could do both, right? Depend on the valuation, so like price to earnings stuff. But the I think the main idea behind this is maybe not the the recommendation. It's like to send customized news to people. So if someone cares about this, which I do, this is what's going to send to me, but I'm going to add it so the users can select what they want to select. Maybe they want the recommendation as part of the email they're getting, or their newsletter, right? But it's ultimately up to them. But we are going to test it over time. We're going to see how this does and try to come up with maybe something, and not only just use like stock market stuff, but potentially go to betting markets, maybe even crypto. I don't know, but find something that potentially has an edge. What would have an edge is not the AI model, but the actual questions in the pipeline that we're building here. Maybe we can develop something that it's generating scripts that ask interesting questions based on the current day, and it's also taking in the news. So this news here, we're providing the current day's news. So just a bunch of data we're feeding into it, asking questions, building scripts. And yeah, so that's the general idea. So the edge wouldn't come from the AI model, but from the pipeline we're building, maybe there could be some sort of edge, and we'll analyze it. We'll analyze the results not just based on performance, but like volatility. How do these portfolios do? If the Okay, good. It's not still freezing. I don't know why that happened. Okay, so now all I need to do is just plug in all the environment variables for the Firebase. So I'm going to do that on another screen. Yeah, I have a feeling, it might not be super interesting yet, but once we get going, like we actually have a pipeline that's running and we can compare what it's doing every day, I think it's going to get interesting to, and this is something that we can test with all the models. So we can just see, we could be running every day like 15 models analysis, and we can see, like, we can compare which model does the best. And it would be really cool to see that, I think. And then we could go to the betting markets, like Kalshi and stuff. Sorry, 1 second here. I'm gonna have to get all this information required, like maybe a minute or so. Oh, it looks like it froze again. Hold on a second. What's going on?
Something's coming, child. Just wait. Eyes open, feel it in the air. Whole world quiet, but the spark's
I'm
right
experimenting
there.
with different Suno songs.
Been cold, been low.
Do just Yo Soul.
Stand tall.
Okay, so I'm going to get all of the data. I wonder if I can get it from the Firebase Gemini, because that would speed it up.
Feel your echoes. Distant whispers rise up on bound. Feel the earth, hear the sound.
Okay, I see.
Feet on fire, I trace the ash. Wild winds howl as echoes crash underneath the floor.
Okay, well, it's no longer freezing, I think.
Take
That's
my
good.
hand, we'll dance unbound. Take my hand, we'll dance unbound. Take my hand, we'll dance unbound. Take my hand.
Okay, so it created. .env.
Ethereal echoes, distant whispers rise up unbound. Feel the earth, hear the sound. Feet on fire, I trace
I think I'm just gonna put in, because I think I'm just gonna do the Firebase setup offline, because it's gonna take a while. There's so much stuff I gotta grab. I'm just gonna put in some just some mock data start. Okay, so I'm going to not put in all the Firebase environment keys for now. Let's just have a sample workflow. So I'm going to sign in, and it's just going to sign into the default user account, because we're going to work on other things first. I just said that's a cursor. If you're wondering why I'm repeating myself. Okay, cool.
Take my hand, we'll dance unbound.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, just some, and then we'll start working on the preferences.
Take my hand, we'll dance unbound. Take my hand, we'll dance unbound.
Okay, cool. So we got our mock identification. Cool. Yeah. Abdul, you're very patient. You're like sitting here watching nothing. All right, cool. Wait, we we have a dashboard. So there's no daily thing today because the market's not open. The idea behind these buttons is kind of like you can test your assumptions, right? So like if we have a negative November, what's the traditionally what happens? Like what are the returns going forward? And it analyzes stock market data. So I'm just kind of building a bunch of those just for testing purposes. Okay, the first thing we want to do when a user logs in is, okay, firstly, I'm going to check something. Firstly, can you make sure that even when you are logging in with on dev mode, where you're logging in with just some random account, can you create that user in the database? And the next thing is like when a user first logs in, they should be able to choose preferences. So basically what is going to be sending to them. Right now, it's just going to be simply the quantitative stuff and the headlines and the market overview. Just have all those selected by default to start. It's just going to be kind of like a checkbox looking thing.
Deeper there's a thread running clean through all I've lost and all I've seen. Still me, still here, right here in every dream, crystal clear. I am every version, none of them. I'm the fire and the ember, the echo and the sender.
Let's see. Can you create?
You've always been you.
I think I'm gonna use this for ideation actually. Right now, I'm trying to understand. Do you think there's any way that we can backtest using this project? The general idea is like, can we take every like look at a past day, like let's say February 2nd, 2020, and do market analysis using this process? The one problem that I'm thinking is that models are polluted with future data. Is there any way to get around this, or take a second to understand the project before you answer this question? We're trying to figure out a way how we can backtest what the. I have a hard time thinking clearly when I this music that's running, so I'm just gonna turn it off. We're trying to figure out a way how we can. Well, at least I'll get a really good insight into how much this is actually going to cost, because I'm using the API for this. Okay, that's kind of annoying. That's asking. Holy crap. Oh my god. It used just in this one command, I've sent 600,000 tokens. That is actually pretty crazy. Oh, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks really good actually. I really like this. Nice. I'm gonna validate that DB did some stuff. Oh, I can see the preferences here. Goodbye. Cool. Looks good. Yeah, cool. Looks legit. Cool. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good to me. The next part, right, I was asking a question that I needed to know the answer to here. So let's see what it's thinking. Yeah, exactly. Define rules using pre. That's true. That's a really good point. Try this.
Stand tall. Stay, stay close.
I'm gonna create a bunch of instrumentals because I'm actually a little tired. Not my favorite. Okay, so we're going to try to. How do we achieve that? Why is this kind of good? What the heck? It's 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Yeah. Did I forget to run the thing? So the next part of what we're gonna do is the user. There should be a new user preference. It should be for sending news related to their watch list, right? So basically, with Y Finance, we should be ingesting news related to each ticker on their watch list, and that should be something that should be in their daily market analysis if they've selected it. And it should be the top headlines, an analysis of the performance for the day of that stock, any relevance news for why it's performing the way it is. If there is no news, nothing interesting is happening, then still include it. Like, even if there's nothing happening, just explain that. And I suppose if there is more than 5 in their watch list, then just narrow it to like the top 5 in their watch list that has the most news. So the email shouldn't be extremely long, right? And their market analysis shouldn't be extremely long. So just limit it to the top 5.
Something.
don't know if it's just me, but something I noticed about music is like I get tired of it really quickly. Like I'll listen to it, like it might sound good for like a moment, but then I'll listen to it like 3 times and I'll be like, all right, I do never want to hear this again. Uh, I don't really have that with other songs. Okay. Yep. Yep. Hmm. Yeah, I think all that makes sense. Yeah, I think all that makes. Hmm. No, I don't like that. Right now I'm thinking, so I have like this memo, but I'm trying to understand how I want it to do this exactly. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a coffee. Okay, let's. Oh, hey. Oh, that's. All right, cool. So let's see if I finished the watch list. I was thinking, I think I have a pretty good understanding of what I want to do going forward here. I think it should be a separate section. I'm not going to call it this. It should be called like portfolio analysis or something like this. Portfolio. AI portfolio. That's pretty good. I'm going to get rid of all these buttons. Okay, I'm also going to figure out what happened here. Just going to remove this. Okay. We're going to remove all of these buttons for now. Okay, let's make this watch list a new page, and we're going to call it instead AI portfolio. The general idea behind this is someone's going to enter a portfolio, right? And the hardest part is figuring out what percents to allocate to each position, right? Like a person can put in the stocks that they're interested in, and from there, we're going to use it in the market analysis, right? Just the same way that we're doing now. But this should be a separate page where you're going to be doing analysis based on that portfolio to try to figure out what makes sense for an allocation given current market conditions and everything else. I think for now, I'm going to. The part that I'm having trouble with is breaking it down into parts. So I just want to break it down into. For now, let's. Well, I already said that, so I'm going to remove all of this stuff after. Yeah, I'm just going to remove all that. Hmm. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I like it. It's gonna be a separate page. We'll add in a bunch of the stocks. Instead, AI portfolio. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a good idea. Okay, it should be definitely more. Hmm. Okay, for now. Oh, I see. I see why I'm getting this. Hold on. I just have to change something in Google Cloud because I remember I changed the permissions on my key. I didn't select the right API. Moment. All right, cool. Oh, it overwrote my analysis. Oh well. Make a new one. Hey, Kashit. 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 I'll go with Kashit. You know, just to be safe. I'm gonna remove all these buttons and this stuff for now. Just the UI part though. Can we remove all the buttons and the custom question UI? For now, we're just gonna have the market analysis be there, but don't remove any of the backend stuff. Just the UI part we're going to hide for now. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna download KV. Sounds good. Tends to take a while because it's iterating on the script. Okay, it just finished. Um, okay, cool. So it did figure out not to do today. Guess we never tested that. Okay, I think the next part, what we're gonna do, instead of doing what we're going to do here, I think what I'm gonna focus on is first this idea of generating enough questions on some of these technical aspects, but then also including a valuation aspect. So maybe like 3 or 4 questions that are basically. So right now, what is it doing? It's looking at bonds to S&P. It's looking at like the equal weight to S&P market, cap weighted. And now what we do is we do valuation stuff. So a few valuation questions. So we have maybe like totally, maybe like 6 or 7. And then we have, it's not like everyone would want that, but it would be some section here where it's like a recommendation. And obviously it needs a few disclaimers, but I feel like that would be kind of how we could test whether this is actually kind of useful or not for the average person. I'm going to start with the recommendation part. Okay, we're going to build a new section called recommendation. It should take in the questions part of excuse me, the questions part of the daily analysis, the results there. And it should be using that to make a recommendation. And the way that it should do that is it should just be uh, averaging the results. So it shouldn't be passing it to Gemini, but it should, you should build a script that can look at the daily analysis results for each of the charts and just give a, well, we do have to pass it to Gemini, obviously. One second. The way to do that is, should first average all the results, and then it passes the information to Gemini. The information being the questions and the today's market performance, and then at the end it should have a recommendation for Right. So a critical component of this is like it needs to know the user's context, right? Like what are their goals and what's their portfolio? You can't really have a recommendation without that. Let me check the question. First time here, what are you building? Let me explain. It's like, okay, so the idea here is like every morning, you might be interested in some financial news. Originally, I was thinking this could be anything, but I'm starting with stock market stuff. And the idea is it's fully customizable, so you can customize what you're getting based on stock market. So you get market overview, you can get the news, you can get, and it's just going to send it to you every morning. It looks like this. This would be like more of you're interested to know based on historical occurrences, like you want basically some interesting questions and insights on the market and like how it did in the past given certain questions. And I guess maybe what we could do is customize the types of questions that we're asking here. For example, some people might care about crypto stuff, and some people might care about valuation, like price to earnings and things like this. Some people might care more about, comparing VIX to the SP and all those things. Some people don't care about that at all, right? So they should be able to turn it off. But the long-term thing about this is like, it would be cool to have recommendations, portfolio analysis, helps you figure out what percent makes sense for each position that you have based on your goals. I guess you could think of it like a financial advisor almost. It's like, so people have the main problem people have is like, they might know maybe some things, like they might know, hey, I want to invest in the idea of, you know, like let's say you are someone who has very aggressive goals, you believe in AI is going to do this, but you don't really know how to construct a portfolio that's reasonable. Like, what percent do I put in this versus that? I think it's a mix of that, right? You need the context of the user. What's their investment? Um, what are their investment goals? What's their, I'm thinking, what's their philosophy, I guess? So I think a critical component, I'm thinking out loud here. I think a critical component is you need a user's context, like their goals, etc. Only then could you make any sort of recommendation on what to do. I think that's what I'm going to add next. And they can ideally add their own portfolio, and that's also going to come into the recommendation part of it. So I'm going to add that. We're going to build a new part called users context. This page is going to be for users to enter their investment philosophy, their current portfolio. Um, Basically, the long-term goal of this project is to build a recommendation engine, and it's going to do all types of things from recommending potentially different percent allocations. So in order to do this, we need a full user's context, right? So this should be a section for their goals, for their investment philosophy, for their current portfolio. Let's see, is there anything else that's relevant? I don't think so, right? That's kind of it. Yeah, I think that's it. It's goals, philosophy, portfolio. I think those are the three that you need. Obviously, we will maybe simplify what that means for people, or maybe we'll have like they don't have to fill it out, right? It's optional to some extent. Or no, what we can do is have preset ideas. Like they can click, for example, investment philosophy, right? They can click like This is what I'm trying to do. Like, it's kind of like a user guided. It's like a co-pilot, a financial co-pilot. Maybe that's what we could call it, right? It's not really like a doesn't just do everything for you because it depends what kind of return you're aiming for and everything, right? Yeah, I like the idea of like a financial co-pilot. I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. Because most financial advisors kind of suck, right? They don't really. Their incentives are not in your interest. Whereas an AI would be. I mean, um, as long as you program it that way, right? I mean, at the very least, it's going to be better than the average financial advisor, right? So, like, even if it's not perfect, right? If you are taking into account people's goals and you're really looking out for the best interest, you probably would be better than the average. I guess there's like two components of this project. There's like the data feed, and then there's the actual like analysis. I don't know, maybe we could separate into two, but maybe we don't. Like the type of person who wants maybe like a daily email, they might not want all the other stuff. So we could either separate into two projects or just have it all in one. And by what I mean by that is the actual analysis of their portfolio. Might not really want that. They might just want news and stuff like that. But there are lots of places to get news. I don't know. Maybe we just stick with. I haven't really seen a financial advisor thing yet, so I mean, I'm sure it exists. So I'm using Gemini 3. I kind of want to try Opus with this too. That would be kind of interesting. So far, the results are really good. Like I like. I've been testing it for the last few days, and the questions here I think are really cool. It always explains what it means by the questions. Like for most people, this is jargon, but then you read it, it's like okay. Well, actually, now that I think about it, we could add a little something to simplify this more. Maybe we can allow someone to put in their experience level, right? Okay, that could be helpful. Like when we're designing this, right? Because okay, so I did show some of this to my some people I know, right? And this is like to them that doesn't mean anything, but you just have a maybe a section in their profile to understand where they're at, right? Are they someone who's been doing this for years or just starting and they're trying to learn? And we should probably format the analysis based on that. Actually, I really like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Oh, AI came up with what I just said. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is good. Oh, this actually this has a lot of information. Yeah. Okay, this is all really good, actually, these kinds of questions. Okay. I think maybe add a little bit more inf information regarding the investment experience stuff. In the investment experience section, let's make it a little bit more detailed. So, not just beginner, intermediate, advanced, but understanding the user's actual knowledge level. So it's not just about like how long they've been investing, but really how much they know. Try to come up with some way to measure that in detail. Like, I don't actually know how to do that. A lot of people might click advanced, but so I guess this would be like the advanced type of. Maybe you could come up with something different for. Let me just test if this actually works if I put in some stuff. Okay, cool. It actually saved it. So I'm gonna ask Italsco. You need to put in like the portfolio amount total, and this will show the percent, stuff like that. Something weird I've noticed is like if I drink a Celsius, right? I like Celsius, but I feel like coffee wakes up my brain a lot better for some reason. Even though Celsius has way more caffeine, I don't really understand why that would be. Like I drink a Celsius, and I'm like, I don't actually wake up. Instead, I'm gonna change the name of that. This reminds me of that meme of like the guy like hitting the tree, where after the AI did everything, you do like one tiny thing. Not doing it justice, but knowledge assessment. No, no, we're not gonna make them take a test, bro. That's not great. Okay. Well, I guess it's not really a test. Okay, so we'll just call it something different. Okay, so let's say portfolio management. What would someone actually do? Like, let's say you're a total beginner. Like, do you think people will feel bad? And they'll put at least something, heard of it. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I think I'm gonna leave it for now. I just have a feeling there's like some psychology here where like some people are gonna want to put more than they actually are just because The prompt is too long. But oh, it's because we haven't created a new. So currently with the knowledge assessment, is it actually integrated into, well, I guess we're not actually doing anything with this yet, so I'll just hold off on that. We are definitely saving it in the database though, so I'll just leave it for now. Although, is there a save? Oh yeah, here it is. All right, so with the current portfolio section, please include a um, place to put your total portfolio size. And then as people are putting in the positions with the amount of shares, it's also putting in automatically what percent that is. So a critical component is knowing what percent of the portfolio for each bet. Also include like, I'll see if I can. Include things like overall portfolio beta, um, and any other statistics that are interesting about the portfolio. The one thing that I changed, I didn't do it right. I just changed it in the wrong, just in a few places. Okay, there we go. I'm going to commit probably a lot of stuff. I like that it thought about that, like the taxable part. Although these drop downs look pretty gross. Okay. I guess it would be kind of cool if like I can put in a portfolio and it can also just tell me the performance for the last year if that was my portfolio for the whole year. Actually, it easily could. It easily could do that because it has you're putting in the your basis and stuff. I have an idea. So I own the domain. It's like Calgy or something. It's like a really stupid domain, but it's like this Calgy. Maybe that's I could use. I could put this there, and I don't know. Maybe it's like Calgy is the AI. Calgy. I don't know. It's kind of not. I feel like Calgy is not the greatest domain. Calgy. Calgy. I just wanted a 5-letter one. That's the best one I could find on the Calgy, the financial advisor. I don't know. It's not super great. I wonder if like realistically I could call it that because like let me see. Can I, let's say you make a service, right? And it's called an you're calling it like an AI financial advisor. Legally, is that okay? Like, could you actually do that? Because, like, let's say you put disclaimers and stuff, would that be enough? Or is that, would there be some like regulatory stuff with that? Sauteing. Okay, investment advisor is a regulated term. That makes a little bit of sense. Could I call it AI financial copilot? A little bit of semantics. Yeah, exactly. And that is what it is, right? It's not like it's just following. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that would work. Where is it? Where did it put it? 'Cause I don't see it. Oh, I put it in the watch list page. Okay, whoops. Um, please put that in the profile section so you see where it's the, what do we call it, curtain. Uh, so we're gonna put like things like performance. Um, I have a Google sheet with all this stuff. Yeah, we're gonna put everything. Nominal performance, all the things. I wonder if there's a way we could get the Sharpe ratio. Maybe. Could it do that? I'm gonna ask. I'm not really sure if it could. Take a look at this project. Do you think we could, based on the user's current portfolio, get the Sharpe ratio? How much work would this? Is it possible, just based on the Y Finance data we're using, could we construct this for them? It's like standard deviation stuff, I think. And that wouldn't really be for the user, I guess, unless they put the advanced on their knowledge. But it could be for the AI to know. Like that would be some important context for the AI, if, I guess. Like maybe that's how we evaluate it. Evaluate their portfolio. Like that's one of the major factors. Realistically, we don't have their transactions though. We just have. Oh, here we go. Is this real? Oh yeah. Well, it has the. Cool. Yeah, that is real. Nice. It doesn't have cash though, which is going to be a part of the portfolio, right? I have a section for cash because that's part of a portfolio. So um, I guess it doesn't need to be a new section. Just specify to the user they can put cash for part of their allocation on the allocation part. Oh, did I put a? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Already has a little bit of stuff. Um, I do want to see if it can do some more interesting things though. Yeah, exactly. Wait, really? This is trivial? Oh my god. Cool. So let's do all of these. Wait, how is this trivial? Portfolio mean my excess. But how are you getting the standard deviation of the portfolio? Don't you have to build that historically, what their portfolio would have been? But how? Right, you need a time series. think it's I'm basically testing this out for usability. Like, I think I'd like it if it's like enter, and you can enter the. You can just press enter and it will work. So I don't have to click add position. I'm basically testing this to see if these are actually. I mean, that doesn't seem right. Okay, I want you to add the Sharpe ratio of the portfolio. Feel free to make this a separate file if the analysis is reasonably complicated, but we're going to include that in our. We're going to have a section called portfolio analysis, and it's going to have a lot of statistics. For now, we're just going to do the Sharpe ratio, but we're going to also add like nominal performance. I'll actually add all these. I'm going to give you a list of assumptions. Should generate. So these are the assumptions. You don't have to display the assumptions to the user, though. This is just internal. But you're going to use these for your calculations. Not equal. Okay, it needs two. I think I'm gonna remove this because not right at the moment, and then maybe we could fix why it's unknown. I have some stuff I'm just gonna put in here and save. Actually, no. Well, let's just generate some stuff, right? Like, because we're gonna test it with like different profiles and things like this. And I guess this will be a section maybe here. Oh, I don't think you can enter options and things like that. I don't really know. We'll maybe do that later. Okay, so it didn't. This is not right. wonder, does this... Hmm. Can you explain, how did you compute the Sharpe ratio here? Okay, and I should be able to click into this and modify the shares. So. Oh yeah, and this portfolio beta is wrong too. Oh, I see, that's kind of dumb. I believe the beta was calculated wrong. Can you double check? Like you can see in the profile section, it has two different beta values. I believe the 0.7 one. It's so, oops. Oh no, I got my, that's fine. All right, and then I'm going to make it so I can edit these. Okay, and the next thing, fix this thing. I'm gonna get another coffee. I will be back. Oh, that's weird. Seems to work. Wait, why did it, eh, used. Why would that change? That doesn't make sense. Something's broken. Because this is changing. Oh, I see. Versus. Okay, got it. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, got it, got it. Okay, cool. So now they're the same, so that's good. Next thing is the max drawdown thing. The next thing, oh, I can't use it. I'll just upgrade. Yeah, it's not letting me upgrade, so. Eh, why did that change everything? Oh. think some of these numbers are wrong. Can you? All right, I didn't upgrade. Also, I don't think this is changing. Let me test that. So if I crank this some up, some. Okay, yeah. Maybe if I reload it does. Oh shit, this file is getting. Okay, but we can just take out the HTML stuff. That's one thing Gemini 3 is good at. Files for it. I don't think that's right. That's definitely all right. Actually, it might be. Oh yeah, also include obvious things. In the Get this finished here. It froze. Oh yeah, use portfolio. Damn, this taking a long ass time. Get this finished here. Let's think here. All right, I forgot to test something, which is this. Very cool, that works. It is added or just add a new one? Oh, it actually works. Cool. Let's see, why did this change? Did I change anything? I don't think so. Wow, this is crazy. All right, I think this is a little ridiculous. I just wanted a little bit of a refactor, not the entire thing to be rewritten. Let us stash it. Was it get reset? Was it removed cached or something? God. Yeah, I do. I got some, but honestly, how much am I programming? Not really. I mean, I can't even think of anything that I've done that's like, I'd say the only thing is like, sometimes you know that it's doing something weird that you might not if you haven't programmed before. So, for example, but it's getting better and better, honestly. Like, I would say the beginning of the year, right, is like a lot of stuff it's doing, but these days I don't really need to do much. It's a great way to learn, though, you know, because you can always ask any questions you have of it. And, oh, get clean. Okay, what am I doing next? I'm doing this. Kind of laggy when you scroll. I don't know, that's just my computer or what. Oh, my whole computer is lagging up. I can figure out why. Uh, the stream. Okay, so I guess it's no longer lagging. Okay, so oh right, I remember what I was doing. I can. So much stuff. Okay, I get why this is so big. So the profile has literally everything. In order to fix that, we could just make it so each one of these is a separate file. Because the file's like, it's just going to cause problems at some point if we just keep letting it grow for the AI, just at least historically it did.
Sky's been gray in half.
Sometimes I wonder why I added some of these songs.
Clock ticking, but I'm good with.
Sometimes you think it's good.
Clock ticking, but I'm good with wait.
All right, now I'm done. Weird, where did I put it? Did I put it in the portfolio section? I don't. Also, I think whatever was in here should also be here as well. That looks really bad. Again, you can just get rid of this, right? I mean, whatever this is. I think while I wait for that refactor, I'm gonna do something else because I think it's just gonna take a while. I think I'm gonna start with just an AI insights thing. Takes in all the things of your profile. So I have all the components. Oops. So we don't need the knowledge level. No. I'm annoying. All right. And then this like file. I remove this one. feel like I'm missing a ton here, but it's fine. Just have a few. Oh, right. Your idea should always include an allocation recommendation. These allocation recommendations. Understanding functional poker. This. Copy this. I think this stuff should just be in the analytics. Let me see if it actually made this file smaller. Okay, it did. Good. That's much better. Yeah. This is so weird. Like, total 3 to 5 days. I don't really like that. I'm just gonna plug it into the Opus on the cursor. My computer starts to get slow after a while. I have a feeling something weird. Site. Whoa. there's like a memory leak or something. My whole computer is freezing. Exit out of here. Okay, that's what it was. It's not ideal. Oh, there you go. That looks pretty. Actually, I mean, I can look at the console. Well, if it happens again, maybe it was just like. I actually like how this is turning out. At first, I wasn't sure if what we're doing makes sense. I think this is starting to make some sense. Eh, how does this not show up? Or profile? Oh, profile. Okay. Okay. Well, this will be interesting. Actually, I think I'm gonna make sure they know that this is all optional. Okay. Oh, wait, how do you do that? Okay, I'm removing all the emojis. This is serious business. Emojis are not part of it. My computer is freezing again, which means this thing is not quite fixed. Notice it tends to be when it makes a lot of changes to the code. I'm trying to click the exit. Oh, there we go. Hmm. Okay, let's see if it's... Cool. So I'm gonna plug in my stuff for this. Uh, Obviously, people won't have to put this stuff in. I just... Now, how long that'll take, that's the question. Who knows? I'm gonna check my Google Cloud, make sure. This shit's freezing. Bye. That worked. Oh, that's kind of cool. Actually, that's what I was looking for. Is you get some kind of interesting ideas. I would like more of these. Just ideas, right? Is this an actually good idea? I mean, let's maybe check that out. My computer's so slow. That's kind of an interesting idea. I don't know. Obviously, if the AI came up with it, it's probably not that contrarian, right? Maybe not the most. Makes sense. Oh, this is good. I like this. This is a good suggestion. Hey, that's actually not a bad idea. Okay. Trying to think where to go with this. There's like some conflicting kind of ideas. But I do want something that I'm going to make a new page for. Also, we should probably make the styles consistent. Whatever. Okay, so I'm trying to think, should I put it here? Kind of want it to be a separate page. Oh, hey, I think I remember you, Gabriel. Uh, how's your stuff going? I think, what am I doing? All right. I'm doing pretty well. Just working on this thing. I recently started streaming again, so I kind of took a bit of a break there. I'm working on this investment tool. I guess it's going to be kind of like a co-pilot, something like this. Not really like not really an advisor, but more just like a kind of advisor. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it helps you figure out what to do with your portfolio. Gives you sort of analysis. It also sends you emails based on the things that you want. So I have it so you can select certain types of stuff. Yeah, I think this could be cool. What's your Vibe Panda thing? Use the prompt injection feature. Let's see, what is that? I don't know what that is. Is that cursor commands? Yeah, I don't run commands by default. I guess if you're talking about the, but that's I always approve it. Great command. Interesting. see, does Y Finance provide database on? Okay, and yeah, so the commands, let me look that up real quick. What? I think it's kind of a way to speed things up, right? I haven't really messed around with that yet. Let's see, what is it trying to do here? I don't really want us to do that. Like, is it just increasing some logging? Okay, interesting. Context control, commands, and rules. Yeah, I think I could definitely do more of that stuff. Well, it's taking longer this time. Okay. Yeah, not a bad idea for sure. Like, in case it's sending things it doesn't need to. Yeah, right. Definitely context makes a big difference. You just send too much stuff. Well, the fact that it's taking a while is not a bad thing, because probably should, considering the amount of news and stuff I bet there is. Oh yeah, perfect. It is going through this. I think after it should generate this, it should save it somewhere. You don't do it every save it up. Oh, the screen is frozen. How long has it been frozen? I wonder. Let's see. Okay, well, it's no longer frozen. I don't know why that happens sometimes. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. That seems pretty good to me. Let's keep going. I'm gonna add one thing to our secular trends. Where am I? Oh, here. In the developed world. Well, I'll just say the US. Well, okay. So I think like once it generates this stuff, this should also be fed into the AI portfolio stuff analysis that it does. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. It actually should be saying that because a lot of times there isn't interesting news. So, oh, okay, yeah, no worries. Oh wait, is it still frozen? Oh, it froze again. That's really frustrating. Interesting. I'll figure that out after. It seemed to do that quite a few times during the stream. Not really sure what's going on with that. Uh, Maybe I need to restart my computer or something. But yeah, I'm just going through this news here that it's generated and analysis of the portfolio. Um, these were all pretty good so far. So Nomad Foods. Yeah, nothing really interesting there, but that's probably to be expected. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, pretty pretty good. Okay, and it shouldn't be doing that every time. So let me go ahead and so oh, oops. Let's see. It's a race between when the thing will finish and to see if it'll add the caching. Oh, oh, it restarted itself because of the updating code. So this one will definitely win. I'm gonna change my YouTube profile photo. We're not really making a game anymore. At least not at the moment. Change it back if we do. Quickly go to cursor settings, agents, usage summary, always. Let me see. Okay. Could do that. Agents. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, thank you. It's actually good to have. 75% of my usage limit. That's good. Yeah, that's super helpful. So I've used 75% in like 4 days, maybe. Basically no time at all, actually. Maybe like 7 hours, 8 hours. All right, cool. So it sounds like it did what we wanted there. So I think basically what I'm going to do here is there'll be your portfolio. Like I'm going to have my portfolio, I guess. And then the AI portfolio will kind of be self-running just every day. We'll decide to do something. We'll kind of see how it evolves. That could be kind of interesting. And we'll maybe just change it over time. There's a ton more of these. I'm just trying to think. What other things are there that are happening? I mean, definitely the larger fitness trend. Oh, well, that's a larger thing. Yeah, never mind. Cool. So it's just finished. Let's see if it saved it. So if I reload, should there we go. Perfect. That's cool. Hmm. Yeah, it is fine. Okay, cool. I like what we did today. I think we got some good stuff going. I'm gonna go now, probably. I think it's a good place to leave off, but I'm gonna commit first. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining, Gabriel.